Some events don't simply end. They leave something behind. Not just evidence, not just records, but a feeling that something is deeply wrong. These aren't myths. They aren't legends passed down through generations. They are real events, real people, real consequences. And yet, despite years of investigation, the truth never fully came out. 7 cases, all real, all unsettling, all unfinished. Let's begin. In 1959, 9 experienced hikers began a trek into the frozen wilderness of the northern Ural Mountains. They were young, fit, and trained for winter survival. The route was difficult but within their capabilities. When they failed to return, a search team was sent. What they found was immediately disturbing. The group's tent was half buried in snow and cut open from the inside with a knife, as if the people inside had been desperate to escape. Their boots, heavy jackets, and essential gear were left behind. Footprints showed the hikers running downhill into the forest wearing socks, or even barefoot, in temperatures well below freezing. Some bodies were found near a small fire, others scattered further away. 2 hikers had crushed chests. One had a fractured skull. But strangely, there were no external injuries that would normally accompany such trauma. One woman's tongue and eyes were missing. Some clothing carried traces of radiation. No footprints of attackers were found. No signs of an avalanche matched the evidence. Decades of investigations have proposed theories: avalanches, infrasound panic, secret military tests, but none explain all the details. In 2014, a modern passenger aircraft carrying 239 people took off on a routine overnight flight. Less than an hour later, it disappeared from radar. No emergency call, no distress signal, nothing. The plane's transponder was switched off. Military radar tracked an unexplained turn-off course, suggesting the aircraft was deliberately flown in a new direction. For years, search teams scanned remote parts of the ocean, covering more than 120,000 square kilometers. Some debris eventually washed ashore on distant beaches, but the main wreckage was never found. The black boxes were never recovered. The final moments of the flight remain unknown. Was it a hijacking? A deliberate act? A technical failure combined with human decision? No official conclusion explains everything. For the families of those on board, the disappearance remains one of the most painful, unanswered questions in modern aviation. In 1971, a man boarded a flight in the United States using the name D.B. Cooper. He was quiet, calm, and polite. Shortly after takeoff, he handed a note to a flight attendant claiming he had a bomb in his briefcase. He demanded $200,000 in cash and 4 parachutes. Authorities complied. When the plane took off again, Cooper opened the rear stairs of the aircraft mid-flight, strapped on a parachute, and jumped into a storm over dense forest. Despite an enormous manhunt, he was never found. Years later, part of the ransom money was discovered buried near a river, but the rest vanished. No body, no parachute, no trace. His true identity is still unknown. In 1948, the body of an unidentified man was found on a beach in Australia. He was well dressed, wearing a suit and polished shoes, but carried no identification. All labels had been cut from his clothing. Investigators later found a tiny, rolled-up piece of paper hidden in a concealed pocket. On it were 2 words, Tamam Jud, meaning finished in Persian. The scrap was traced to a rare book of poetry. In the back of that book, police found a strange handwritten code, lines of seemingly random letters. Despite decades of attempts by code breakers, no one has been able to decode it. No one has confirmed the man's identity. No one knows why he died. A mysterious manuscript written centuries ago contains an unknown script accompanied by strange illustrations. Plants that do not match any known species. Astronomical diagrams unlike anything from that time. Biological drawings that defy clear explanation. Carbon dating places the book in the early 15th century. Linguists, historians, and cryptographers have attempted to decode the writing for over a century, but no one has succeeded. It is unclear whether the book represents lost knowledge, an invented language, or something else entirely. The manuscript remains one of the greatest unsolved puzzles in written history. In the late 1960s, a serial killer terrorized Northern California. He sent letters to newspapers, mocking police and threatening further violence. Several letters contained ciphers, which he claimed would reveal his identity. One cipher was solved quickly. Another took over 50 years to crack. Some remain unsolved. Despite multiple investigations and suspects over the decades, the killer's identity has never been officially confirmed. The case remains open, and the mystery endures. In 1908, a massive explosion shook a remote region of Siberia. Witnesses reported a bright flash, followed by a shockwave that knocked people off their feet miles away. More than 2,000 square kilometers of forest were flattened. The explosion was powerful enough to shatter windows hundreds of kilometers away. Yet no crater was ever found. No confirmed fragment of a meteor or comet was recovered. Scientists believe the explosion may have been caused by a meteoroid exploding in the atmosphere, but without physical remains, certainty remains elusive. More than a century later, the full truth remains uncertain. 7 cases, all real, all unresolved, not myths, not stories, real events that continue to raise questions. This was Informboom. Stay curious.